Hey, what's up, Expo? Theta Chapter, it's David here again, about to share some more financial knowledge with you guys and help educate you and help you realize how you can reach your financial goals faster and how you can actually elevate your current financial goals to, have even more in your life. I'd like to thank you, the brothers who have viewed this video, the previous first video, and gave me some good feedback. I hope I really inspired you guys or got you guys a lot, have got a lot of you guys curious about creating wealth for yourself outside of your careers, and how to achieve financial, this like small steps you can take to help you achieve financial freedom and also your financial goals, which in turn will give you a lot more happiness and less stress in life. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into this video and try to make it a lot faster than my original educational video. Um, let's go over some goals and key takeaways. I want you guys to understand how to leverage other people's money in your real estate asset classes while you control 100% of the asset. We're also going to learn how to understand how leveraging debt enables you to control a higher dollar value of your portfolio. And third, we're going to understand how leveraging debt, while contrary to the majority of public's belief, actually reduces risk, especially in your real estate portfolio. Or maybe not especially, but in this case specifically in a real estate portfolio. So we're going to piggyback off the first video. If you haven't seen the first video, I encourage you to check that one out, just so you can follow along with this video a little bit more. But let's say I buy my duplex here with Josh Perez, and we put 3.5% down, opposed to a conventional 20% down loan. We're going to live in this unit, and we're going to rent out this one, and we're going to split the difference of all the expenses of this house after we get the rental income from this house. So you're going to be paying your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes, and also you're going to stash away some money for repairs. All right, and we're going to observe our skin in the game thus far. So I have a 3.5% down payment. I have 1 year of mortgage payments. That has built roughly 2 to 4% of equity or ownership in this property, right? So I currently own 3.5%. After a year, I have 2 to 4 more percent. So let's say I have 7.5% of equity or ownership in this property. Yet I control 100% of the asset, and that is the I believe this first or second goal is how you control 100% of your asset without having ownership of that entire asset, right? Um, for example, if you bought 10% of Apple, you may not even sit on the board of directors, and you might not even have any control of that asset. You can't tell the board of you can't be an advisor on the board of directors to take Apple in the direction that you see most profitable, which is, I wouldn't say stocks are bad, but I would just say this is one of the advantages of owning property and leveraging money that you don't have to pay back because your tenant is paying it back for you. So you bought this duplex in 2017, and you move out into a second duplex, and I bought this second duplex with Josh. We put our money we were saving, since our rent was really cheap in this house, remember, and now we rent out this unit and move out into this unit and rent out this unit. So currently, unit on this property one, these units are being rented in 2018. We're living in here, and we're renting out this unit. So now that we're renting both units, all our expenses are covered in this house: mortgage, your insurance, your and your money stashing away for repairs, all that good stuff, right? And you're also getting some cash flow because the rental incomes are so high. Well, we're going to take this cash flow, and we're going to also pour it into the expenses of this home. So hopefully me and Josh are living rent-free, enabling us to save more money and more capital to redeploy into our investments or just enjoy, right? If you had more money today to enjoy with your loved ones, why wouldn't you want to do that, right? So you could see how people are building your own ownership or equity in your properties while you're living rent-free or close to rent-free. So in today, you have a smaller expense, and in 30 years down the road, people are going to completely pay this asset for you. Um, so that's one proof of concept of the previous video. Let's fast forward 6-7 years down the road to 2024, right? Let's say on this first property, I owe 260,000. On this property, Josh owes 280,000. He bought it a year later, right? So he'll owe a little more. And for simplicity, we both bought it at 400,000. So me and Josh, we're gonna go to the Mr. Bank, or we're gonna go to the bank, and we're gonna say, hey, Mr. Banker, we'd like to refinance our loans on our properties. And they're like, well, okay, let's go get an appraiser, and if you qualify, and if it's a risk we can take by giving you a new loan, we'll approve you for this loan. So again, for simplicity, we're gonna say your house appraises for 400,000. Even though it appraised in 2017, or you bought it in 2017 for 400,000, let's say it didn't grow any equity, or its value didn't appraise for any higher, right? So it's still worth $400,000, just for simplicity. Typically, it'll be higher. And they'll say, all right, David, we're going to give you an 80% loan to value on your home, which means we're going to loan you 80%, and you're going to have 20% of skin in the game in here. So if my home costs $400,000, they're going to give me $320,000. And what I'm going to do with this $320,000 is I'm going to pay off this old loan. And the net difference between this loan and this loan is going to be cash I can utilize and redeploy into other assets, or save in the bank, or give it to my mom, right? And Josh is going to do the same thing, but since he owes a little bit more on his original mortgage, he gets $40,000. Instead, me and Josh, we put our money together, and we have $100,000 of liquid cash. What do we do now? This takes us to our next case study, right? Should we buy one property, or should we buy 5 properties? So let's say all these homes cost $100,000. Should we buy one property for $100,000, or should we buy 5 properties, $20,000 each, and then get an 80% loan to value mortgage? Right? So we're going to look at our costs: taxes, insurance, property management, repairs, and same cost here, but now you have to pay a mortgage. And we're going to see which one of these strategies is going to give us more money, right? And you're going to see, oh, David, you have 5 mortgages. You owe 5 banks money, or you have a mortgage. You have 5 mortgages, not just one. Like, I can only handle 1 mortgage. Well, remember, you're going to be renting these out, and when you're not just going to buy any property, you're going to buy the property right, and hopefully the property, when you buy it right, is going to pay for all your expenses and give you some cash left. So in both cases, you're going to get some cash left. We're going to take case 1. You get $1,000 a month for rent, right? $1,000 times 12 is $12,000 a year. Let's say taxes is $1,000, insurance is $1,000, property management fees is $1,000, and repairs is $700 a year as well. These are all in your yearly cost expenses, and that's your yearly income, right? If you take all your expenses and you subtract it from your income, your gross income, you get your net income, $8,300. And now what's your cash on cash return, which is mean how much money am I getting for what I originally invested, right? What's my cash on cash return? So you take your net income and you put it over your investment, and you have 8.3%. Great, that sounds pretty solid. I'm making 8.3% on $100,000 I invested. So this investment is giving me $8,300 a year. On the flip side, let's take case 2. We're gonna say only 1 property for now, right? You put $20,000 in, still $1,000 a month. Your taxes, insurance, property management, and repair expenses are still the same. Let's say this property and your portfolio are all like properties. where the taxes is about the same, the insurance is about the same, property management in that area is about the same, and you're stashing away some money for your future repair costs about the same. And the cost of the home is built $100,000, but you only put $20,000 here. But remember, this home has a mortgage. Well, you don't owe the bank any money because you bought all cash here. So per year, you're going to owe about $4,800 a year in mortgages to pay back your loan, right? Well, remember the tenant is paying all of these costs, and you're netting about $3,500 compared to $8,300. But what was your original investment? $20,000. Only 20% of the all cash investment here, right? So you take your cash on cash return, you calculate your cash on cash return, $3,500 of your net income, you divide that by your investment, and you have 17.5%, a little over double of your cash on cash return here. And since you have 5 of these properties, you're really getting $17,500 per year of cash flow, and that is equal to a 17.5% return on your portfolio investment. So you can see how actually leveraging debt and other people's money can increase your returns if done properly, right? Proves gold. That's key takeaway number 2. Key takeaway number 3, we're going to explain how actually, taking on these 5 mortgages can reduce your risk of an all cash investment in real estate. So let's say you have a bad tenant in this one property that you bought all cash, $100,000, and you have to evict him, right? He hasn't been paying rent. You're telling your property management company to get him out of there. And let's calculate what you're losing. So you invested $100,000. Every month, you're not grossing your $1,000 of rent anymore because they're not paying rent. But you still have to pay taxes, insurance, your property management company, and your repair costs. Regardless if you have a tenant in here not paying you, regardless if you have a tenant in here paying you, regardless if you don't have anyone at all living in here, you can't get away from these costs right here. The state government's going to tax you for property taxes. You still have to have insurance on the house. You can maybe get rid of your property management company, but that's not really smart because you don't want to be the property management company here. You want to be the investor and be as passive as you can. And you also still want to reserve some money every month for your future repair cost, right? This roof is still going to need to be replaced in 20 years, regardless if someone lives in here or not, right? So now this $100,000 investment asset, an asset is something you put money into with the expectation that it's going to give you money back. But now you put money into it and it's costing you more money. So now this is where your real estate assets become a liability, or your one real estate asset becomes a liability, because now it's taking more of your money. It's taking more of your day job income to actually own this property than when its intention was to give you more supplemental income from your day job, right? And so if you diversify over here by borrowing money and expanding your portfolio with the same dollar amount investment, but borrowing the bank's money to control these assets, you can see how your risk is reduced by a lot. So you're still losing $1,000 a month, and on top of your regular expenses, you also have a mortgage expense, right? Because you borrowed money to buy this house. So now your expenses are a little bit higher than in case 1 at $650. But remember, every month these properties are paying you, cash flowing, because you have tenants paying rent, and that rent exceeds the monthly expenses to own this house. It's about, these 4 units are producing about $1,160. You subtract that from the money you're losing here, and every month you're still cash flowing $500. You still have a positive cash flowing portfolio, opposed to, you know, a liability, a asset, that portfolio that has become a liability portfolio. Um, that's not really a thing, but you get what I'm saying. We could take this to its final state, or one step further, and my last example will be, well, what if, you know, it's not just a tenant? What if the tenant sets the house on fire on accident? Well, your $100,000 you put in is now completely wiped out. You know, this is worthless now. It's a burnt down property. You could sell it, but it'll probably sell for maybe a tenth of what it was originally worth. Opposed to case 2 over here, one of your properties burns down, you're losing that $3,500 of annual cash flow, and now you're only getting $14,000 from these 4, but your $100,000 investment is still getting a cash-on-cash return of 14%. So you can see how leveraging debt and other people's money, the bank's money, can let you control a larger asset class, right? Your $100,000 controls $500,000. Here, $100,000 controls $100,000. And in the, you know, hopefully it doesn't happen to us, but in the scenario where, you know, one of your properties does get hit with a scenario like this, you could still survive the hit you take from this property, because your other assets are covering the losses here. all all of this was only possible because you could leverage debt. It's very backwards to, you know, what, as I said, a lot of society preaches, what we learn growing up from our parents. But this is just one of the many different ways wealthy people think differently from the middle class and, you know, the poor class of people. They want to take on good debt, you know, so they can grow their wealth faster. As you can see, the returns here, you grow your wealth faster every year, regardless of this cost of a mortgage. You're still getting a higher return on your investment. And also, in, you know, the unfortunate case where your assets are getting hit, you know, leveraging all that debt to control more assets can cover your losses. And that concludes this educational video, guys. For the next video, I will be talking more about debt and how it is good, or question how it is good, or if it is truly bad. So thanks, guys, for listening, and I hope you learned some really valuable information. And if you guys want to chat more about this, have more interest, desire more education, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to work on my coaching skills to, you know, build lifelong brothers who are also lifelong business partners, and, you know, achieve the financial success that I envision for myself.